Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio with our resident business expert with some powerful business strategies here on the Positively Pipeman segment. Let's welcome Michael Barbarita. How are you?
Excellent, Dean. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And like last week, we were talking about ice cream and lines of credit.
That's right.
And this week, we're talking about solving cash flow problems. Hopefully, that doesn't mean your ice cream's melting.
Right.
But I do think they kind of go hand in hand. So what advice do you have for our listeners?
Yeah. So, cash has hiding places. And it probably takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to look at a balance sheet and really understand where the cash is going. Sometimes it's going, it's hiding in inventory. Sometimes it's hiding in receivables. Sometimes it's hiding in something called prepaid expenses, which is something your bookkeeper will put, like if you had to pay a deposit for a trade show that's happening in the future, that would go into prepaid expenses. Or if you had to make a big deposit on an insurance policy, that would go into prepaid expenses, because that's an expense that would happen every month and it'd be incurred every month, but not all at once, which was, for example, if the deposit is 5 months of insurance, that shouldn't all go to insurance expense in 1 month. It should get spread out over 5 months, and it usually hangs out in prepaid expenses and gets taken out of prepaid expenses and into insurance expense as time passes. And with respect to the trade show, whenever the trade show occurs, that's when the expense occurs. So that's another place. Another place it could be hiding is capital expenditures. If you're buying equipment, or if you have equipment loans. What people don't understand is that when you have an equipment loan, you make a payment of interest and principal. The only thing that goes to the P&L is the interest. The principal piece reduces liability on the balance sheet and doesn't show up on the P&L. So when people make $20,000 and they say, well, where is it? If they had principal payments on equipment loans, or any kind of loan for that matter, of $20,000 or $30,000, they now have a negative cash flow. They made 20 and they 30,000 went to pay down the principal on loans. So people don't understand that. People think if they make 20,000, they can take out 20,000. That creates cash flow problems if you have other things like loans where you're paying the principal on those loans. You're actually expending cash when you make those payments that doesn't show up on the P&L. So that's really a tricky area for a lot of people, Dean. I see that time and time again. So we have a program called 90 Days to Fast Cash. And what we do, the first thing we do in that program is we find the hiding places where cash is hiding. Now, certainly, we'll look at receivables and we'll explain. We have a number of strategies that we use when it comes to how to manage receivables. And to give you an example, I was just working with a client in the month of October, and that client, I was able to show that client how to pick up $200,000 of additional cash flow in 2 weeks, just by managing the receivables properly. And one thing that's real interesting, I see this a lot in the trades. When a tradesperson goes to a house and finishes the job, it's customary to get paid when the job is finished, not to put it on your receivables.
Right.
People in the trades have to understand and learn how to manage their receivables, where when they finish the job, they tell the business, the customer, the residential customer up front, we're going to collect a check or get a credit card when the job is done, period. But I can't tell you how many people in the trades just blow off that piece of it and then they have a receivable, and then it never gets paid.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's cash flow that you're missing out on.
That's because their money is hitting in a mattress.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to me. But one of the things we do in our 90 Days to Fast Cash program is cash has hiding places. And so we find the hiding places. And sometimes that could reveal, in the case of my client in October, a couple $100,000 of cash flow in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But we also talk about and how to strategically raise prices, something that business owners, and I say the word strategically because there's strategic ways to do that with packaging and bundling, with upsells, downsells, and cross sells. There's strategic ways to increase prices where it's not even noticeable. Some companies have an opportunity to raise their prices 2 or 3%, and their customers won't even notice it. But that's 2 to 3% more gross profit points, which can be very significant on big volumes. So strategically raising prices, strategically cutting costs. And what we do when we cut costs is we ask the business owner 4 key questions. Is that expense going to help acquire a customer? Is the expense going to help retain the customer? Is the expense going to increase the long-term value of the customer? And is the expense help deliver the product or service to a customer? If it doesn't qualify in any one of those, if the answer is no to all of those, you cut the expense. So we have that was just one example, but we have strategic ways of cutting expenses. We also encourage clients with cash flow problems to increase or get deposits from a customer when they sell a customer. It's customary to get a retainer if you're in the professional services business, or if you're in the trades, obviously get a deposit. Now, I helped one of my clients in the trades. He was given a 10%. He was asking for a 10% deposit, where it was customary in that trade to ask for a third deposit. That increased his cash flow 25% in 2 months because he's asking for the bigger deposit.
And people are used to it. Like I think people actually will be a little concerned if it's smaller than the average, to be honest. Like that maybe it's not legitimate, even though you think you're doing the right thing by taking less of a deposit, you might be, stabbing yourself in the foot, to be honest.
And you know what kills me? They never mentioned it as a feature of their product when they were talking to the customer. Okay, so they had a lower deposit, but they never used it as a selling technique.
Yeah, that would be a selling point. So I have a perfect example of this. So my dad, that's how I got into the pool and spa business from a very young age. He was in the spa business, and when he was older and his health was ailing, I was helping him with his spa business while I was actually literally starting the radio network. But I was helping him, so I was working like 50 million hours a day. But I came from the investment business, and he had this sales pitch to get people to buy that worked quite effectively for him, where, these $8,000 spas, all you had to do is put a $200 deposit down. And in his mind, he wanted only $200 because he didn't want to spend that money that was coming in and then it be a problem come time when it was to deliver the spa. Now, I came in with a very different attitude coming from the investment business. I got people to pay up front, 100% deposit.
Yeah,
and every time, and they didn't even flinch because it's all about how you say it and how you present it, And he used to get actually upset at me for doing that. Don't do that. I don't want to have to give. I'd rather give back 200 if I have to than 8,000. But here's what happened. The people that only put $200 deposits down, they're quick to cancel. Even if they think they won't get the 200 back, because it's just a $200 loss. Whereas none of the deals I would sell would cancel. because they were fully vested in it. So not only from the viewpoint of how much money that they already put out, but the fact that the mindset of already putting it out, okay, and also the mindset of, I'm already fully vested in this, and they take ownership of whatever they're buying. Like the people that were paying $200 deposits were not taking ownerships of the spas. They're like, okay, I'll just give the $200 to, shut the salesperson up,
Right.
Whereas with me, they were giving the full amount, and they had already completely made their decision that wasn't going to change. And in their mind, their mindset is they already own the spa. It's already in their backyard.
Unbelievable. And to your father's credit, though, at least he used that as a selling technique.
Yes, he did.
My clients, when they were doing that, they weren't even using it as a sales technique.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
There was no benefit whatsoever. Here they are giving an advantage, and they're not even using it in their sales pitch.
Oh, I would use it all the time if it were me.
Right. They never did. So, it's just one of those things that people they're not thinking about. They need someone to help them think about these things. And that's where we come in, Dean. And there are so many little tidbits like that, little tweaks. These are just small. This isn't like we're going to blow up the business. It's just small little tweaks.
Yeah.
On most of these things. And as we continue with our 90-day fast cash program, we get into upsell, downsell, and cross-sell, because that can have an immediate impact, as well as compelling offers. We get deep into that. I've had clients increase business and increase cash flow at the same time by generating more compelling offers, risk reversals, and adding more value to the product, and bundling and packaging. Being indifferent to the outcome, having a time limit on when the offer is good for, having scarcity where, they only have 3 appointments left, or they only have 3 units left. All those things have added to their cash flow because they're able to turn the sale quicker by having the compelling offers.
Yeah.
And so our 90-day to fast cash program, and, we guarantee, increasing our clients' cash flow by at least 50% in 90 days, or we give all the money back. We don't, and that's, and we talk about how that's calculated and so forth up front, but we guarantee our performance. That's our risk reversal to your audience.
Nice.
And so. Yeah, and so the way to participate in the 90 Days to Fast Cash program is to go to our website, www.nextstepcfo.net. Go to the contact form in the website, fill out the contact form, and in the message section, put 90 Days to Fast Cash, or just Fast Cash.
All right, well, I want some fast cash. And we're going to fastly cash out of this place, because I think we gave them some great information today. And I absolutely love that we can give all these powerful business strategies from you, Michael Barbarita, from Next Step CFO. Everybody has to check you out, and everybody has to tune in every single Monday to the Positively Pipeman day of the week for the Adventures of Pipeman, where you can get more powerful business strategies from Michael Barbarita. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.